Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast.
Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. If you're following along with us on YouTube, thank you very much. What's going on? This is Mike Suttle and Tanner Dawson.
What's going on, everybody?
Jason JG is still not with us for the show here. He is out taking care of business, so he'll be back sometime next week. Tanner, actually, we have a schedule release coming up too, so
we do.
Something to
It's
keep
an
in mind.
Show.
It'll be Wednesday. Actually, during the show, we plan on being live with you guys at 7:30 during the schedule release, kind of going over things with you regarding the Chiefs schedule and then the primetime games that stand out. So that'll be fun to go over with you guys a little bit.
Maybe we'll give a way too early prediction too. Record prediction.
So remember, Tanner, 17 games. That's going to be weird to think about that.
It's so odd. So throw my math off.
Yeah, whenever you start thinking about records, I think they're going to go 12-4. But, you got to think, wait, should I add a 1 to the other one? Or 13-5?
The Jeff Fisher, right? Jeff Fisher needs to come back. He can't go 8-8 anymore.
That is true. No more 500. You're right.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
You either suck or you don't.
Right. Man, Gunther Cunningham would be pissed, too. So, man, think about some of that. Or even Marvin Lewis would be pissed. Mm-hmm. And so would Herm Edwards. All those guys.
I mean, who's going to be the first team to go 0-17? That's what I want to know.
That's going to take a lot of work, actually. Going 0-17.
You want it to be really bad. I think the Cleveland Browns team and some of the Detroit Lions teams in the past years could have lost to one more game.
Well, before we dive in here to something, we did just go through a little Cinco de Mayo celebration. But Tanner, what are you sipping on over there?
Oh, I got me it's a little. I believe it's the Goose Island lemonade shandy, which is actually.
It used to just be called the Urban Wheat, like the 312, right?
Yeah, 312. Mm-hmm.
Tanner, we had that a long time ago, hanging out with your brother Connor, who works for the Mariners now. We went down to, was it Chanute, Tanner?
Pittsburgh.
Pitt.
This is down in Pitt.
And then we picked up a pack or a 6-pack of those 312s from Goose Island. Those were great, and they changed the whole flavor of them, I think. And
they changed the flavor, they changed the packaging, and I mean it's still 4.2, but
yeah, I mean if you like a little sweeter type of a shandy beer,
oh yeah, it's good.
And it works for you, I guess. I'm gonna be a little girl today, and I'm having a Bud Light Seltzer lemonade actually. So. I'm not proud of this, but it is what I have currently in the household.
It isn't a bad thing at all.
It's
they're pretty good.
It's a strawberry flavor, though. So, I'm going to go ahead and crack right into this. Got a little splash over on the microphone here, but that's all right. There's more things that have gone flying around this place. So we'll save that for a different show, Tanner, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, my.
Oh, man. So it kind of reminds me a little bit, though, about some of the things we've seen this week with Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers, obviously, this is a whole situation coming about. Is he being petty? Is he in the right to feel the way he does? Obviously, the guy's had problems with his family. That is very well known. He and his brothers and his parents even don't get along. I guess I'm sure at some point they've gotten over it. I would hope, but I've heard many rumors about that in the past with Rodgers and how I don't know what his deal is. He's got a big ego. Obviously, him and Brett Favre didn't get along very well whenever he came along into the league to begin with. Even Brett Favre, though, has said recently that he's not optimistic that Rodgers will play for the Packers again. Rodgers is adamant that he wants out, and a lot of it comes down to the general manager, who he's now compared to
Jerry Cross.
There you go, Tanner. Yep.
And if you know Jerry Cross, guys, if of course you didn't pay attention during the Michael Jordan era, or if you grew up during that or after that. It was also part of the Michael Jordan special that aired. So he was the GM of the Bulls, and he was the one that ultimately broke up the squad after all those championships. So that's kind of what Rodgers is comparing him to.
Yeah, I feel like the whole situation is interesting, and we've felt in the past that maybe the team didn't do enough for Rodgers over time as far as not using draft picks on top-end receivers. And just adding talent. Now, this is a team that was just in the NFC Championship game. And they're bringing back Aaron Jones. He's coming back. Obviously, he's still going to have Devontae Adams there. Mm-hmm. You're still pretty much having the same team as what you got there with
You're missing
last
a
year.
few linemen that got better
Mhm.
deals, so you
But-
go ahead and get him.
It kind of comes off like he's just being petty and whiny to me because
So
I don't get the situation.
So I listened to Pat McAfee today. I wanted to kind of hear more of his take and everything that's going on, and he did talk about Aaron Rodgers. He did make a key fact about this when this dropped on draft day. Adam Schefter states in the line, "This is from league or an NFL source. This is a league or team source." So this isn't Aaron Rodgers just coming out. It's not his agent. This is from a league or team source dropping everything. So it's not Aaron Rodgers himself just coming out. I think it's either some people speculate that he's leaking it. He's not leaking it because Adam Schefter specifically said league or team source in the chat. So I think that's a first thing to be put forward. Second off, I don't like believing this stuff until I hear it from the player themselves. The whole Russell Wilson deal we just had go down. I never heard from Russell Wilson. Did you ever hear from Russell Wilson?
No, he did not talk about
He
it.
didn't say anything about it, right? And obviously nothing happened of it. I don't know. I think this is just something that, we heard it last year. We heard it the year before. I think nothing happens. I think he plays for the Packers. But I don't know, man. Just think about it, though. Any team that Aaron Rodgers goes to, instant contender. There's a reason why they went back to the NFC Championship game.
Well, absolutely, they'd be a contender. I think that a lot of Rodgers' issues here, obviously, he wasn't happy with the draft pick of Jordan Love from 2020.
No.
He wanted to get more talent for himself if he was planning on to stay in Green Bay. But I'm sure Rodgers kind of feels the same way Brett Favre did back then.
Yeah.
Because Brett Favre felt like he was being forced into retirement, basically, at one point. And I'm sure Rodgers is seeing the same thing that happened to him. And back then, Rodgers, was kind of cocky about it, and he thought he was better than Brett Favre, and Favre wasn't ready to be done. So basically retired, unretired 3 or 4 different times. But I don't think Favre ever wanted to retire at that point. I think he just felt like he didn't know what else to do.
I don't think he
at that
ever
stage.
wanted to retire, period.
No, I don't think he ever did up until Minnesota. At that point, he went with a very talented team and gave them 2 years there, but. There's also this situation where Rodgers has talked about wide receiver Jake Kumaro was somebody that he likes a lot, and then the guy was cut the very next day, and that was something that bothered Rodgers quite a bit. So there's situations like that where it seems like management is kind of going against what Rodgers wants, and that is what's kind of peeved him over the years. I think this is not just one situation. I think it's a buildup of multiple situations that's eventually gotten him to where he doesn't feel appreciated by the organization, and he also doesn't feel like they have the best interest of the team either.
I think the other issue you're seeing, too, is he's seeing other teams with all these weapons. Look at Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, right? They have 7 starters at wide receiver, possibly. Three starting tight ends. And a decent line and great defense. I think that's what he's seeing. He's seeing guys with the Bucks, seeing KC, right? What we do here. Now he's kind of seeing it from other teams as well.
The Packers don't bring in outside talent very much besides the draft. They've always been a team that lives and dies by the draft, which is fine. That's the way I believe in it. But at the same time, there's moments where you as an organization can go out and get your quarterback another piece. Go and add to the offense to give yourself more options.
It doesn't have to be a 5-year deal, guys. It can be just a 1-year deal like the Bucks are doing, right? And just kind of monitor it off of there. And there's multiple guys out there that this can happen for. So I don't know, man. I can't blame Rodgers. I really can't. I feel like if I was kind of in his shoes and you're drafting a quarterback in the first round and I'm still going to play for another 6-7 years, I think that's probably the last thing that he probably wants to happen. So I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough one. But Mike, so real quick here, do you think that this is also a smokescreen for Green Bay to make Rodgers look like as a bad guy, so when trade time does come, they can get a better deal out of it and less public bashing?
I don't think. Rodgers I don't think it's smokescreen by any means because this came from Rodgers. The team didn't go out and tell him what to say or think. Rodgers came out and said, "Okay, I don't want to be on this team
Yeah,
anymore."
but it's being leaked by the team instead of keeping in.
No,
in
Rodgers has
organization.
also been on Twitter, as we saw on draft day. Hey, looking real nice in Denver, and saying things
Yeah.
like that.
I
Rodgers
guess he
himself
is provoking.
is going out, provoking it, instigating it, and
That's
asking
fair.
for it, openly. He's not hiding anything. He's very open about the fact he does not want to be a part of the team. So it has nothing to do with Rodgers secretly wanting to stay on the team. No, he wants out of that damn place. And there's some ways I don't blame him, but other ways I think he's on a contract until 2023 right now. And I think that it's one of those situations, yeah, you might want to win, you might be unhappy. At the same time, you got one of the best 32 jobs in the world, and you just went to the NFC Championship game. You had the lead until the very end of that game. You would have been in the Super Bowl. Like, are you still going to be bitching if you're in the Super Bowl at that point? Like, are you still going to go to the Super Bowl?
He might.
Maybe win against the Chiefs. Then you're going to bitch some more. I mean, are you literally only doing this and acting this way because you didn't get there? Because I think if this Packers team had gone to the Super Bowl, defeated Kansas City,
You don't think we hear any of
I don't
this?
think Rodgers is saying a word because he's happy. He's fat and happy. He got his ring. So I think that you're looking
Yeah.
at a situation where 2 games now makes him want to act out. I think.
I don't know. I think we're talking, like you said, I think we're talking about within the last 3 years of just the buildup of it, and now it's just really coming out. And obviously Rodgers, he actually is a quiet-spoken guy, very thoughtful. He was on every Tuesday at Pat McAfee during the season as well, kind of opening his mind up to everybody. So the guy is not a very outspoken guy, but I think the situation has arose where, yeah, he's provoking it with small sentences, small tweets, right? Nothing major, but it's really turned into something big here.
Yeah, that is. I don't know. I don't know what to think of the whole thing.
So-
And it's
so-
a weird situation.
Let's say this Rodgers thing continues to play out, right? Where would he potentially land? Where do you think he could potentially land if something was to happen in Green Bay?
Well, he did make a note, obviously, that he found Denver to be an interesting landing spot, and I'm sure John Elway loves the idea of that because he loves finding easy routes
He
to go
just
to the
got
Super
Teddy
Bowl.
though.
Right.
He just got Teddy. You have Drew Lock on the bench.
So he should be
Like-
good. But I mean, I think we heard a little bit today on the news about Aaron Rodgers, what he could be getting in return, from a team. I think you could be looking at 2 firsts and a second round pick is what we're looking at for Rodgers' value. Obviously, as an aging quarterback, but still at the top of his game, he's got a lot of value still because we saw with Peyton Manning, you could have 1 or 2 years with a new team, or Tom Brady for that matter. 1 year with a new team, go win a Super Bowl. If Rodgers was on the right team, they could go win a Super Bowl. I think that if you put even Rodgers on a team, like just for the sake of it, let's say the Cowboys, who've constantly been underachievers for a long time, I think that's an immediate Super Bowl team. I think the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl right away. I think they've been held back due to a couple flaws in the scheme of the way they run things, and then Dak is limited to a degree, and Rodgers is just a top 5 quarterback in the league. So
Yeah, that's fair.
it's tough to sit there and go, yeah, he's worth this or that, but it's going to come down to whether the team is really willing to get rid of him at all. Because obviously they do think highly of Jordan Love, but if you're the Packers and you have an offer come up like that from Denver, let's say, I mean, it'd be hard to say no to it because, as we talked about earlier, the Packers build through the draft, so draft picks to them are, very valuable. That's like gold to them. And you already have your young franchise quarterback in the waiting, Jordan Love. I think you got to do the deal, and I think a team, if you're the Raiders, I'd make a move to go try to get Aaron Rodgers. Any team basically that would be a quarterback away, or say the quarterback's underachieving from what he should be at, and Rodgers would put that team over the top. You got to consider it at least. There's a few teams obviously that don't need one. The Seahawks don't need a quarterback. The Chiefs do not need a quarterback. Buccaneers don't need a quarterback. I mean, the Saints. I mean, you have a situation there where
We'll see, I guess.
that's
but
debatable.
I think they need one.
I mean, that's a team. If you put Aaron Rodgers on the Saints, ship Winston over there to Green Bay, I guess. But that's a Super Bowl team right away.
So what about the Bay Area going home for Aaron Rodgers? 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a great fit, absolutely.
Trey Lance
and,
will have a better guy to look up to, I think.
You would have Trey Lance getting to sit for 1 year, which I agree with for him. But, yeah, that'd be a great fit. I don't know, obviously he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo was and everything else. That team's not the same team as what we saw 2 years ago.
No.
Obviously. So I don't know if that puts them in the Super Bowl necessarily, because I don't think that defense is ever going to be that good again as what we saw 2 years ago when the Chiefs played them in the Super Bowl.
I agree.
'Cause that was a top 3 defense.
I mean, yeah, a lot of guys coming back from injury over there, so but we'll have to see exactly what happens there. I mean, that was like I said, it was a top tier D. Can they come off their injuries and still be effective?
Yeah. I don't know. I think that they could. I mean, for sure, because they did have a lot of injuries last year, obviously, in San Fran. But would that make them a playoff team? Absolutely. I mean, there we are
big time.
on the verge, but that's a great division as well, having the Rams involved in there. Obviously, Seahawks and Cardinals. Cardinals are on the rise. All those teams are really tough. And 49ers, they're just in a tough situation, and Rodgers would help put them, I think, at least in the NFC divisional playoff round.
Yeah, I could see that too. Let's see here. What if you think somebody, as in the Houston Texans, could make a push for that, or do they even have a value?
I don't know what the point would be, because you got to understand the Texans are probably 8 years away from being productive. And that team, that team's nowhere near where they need to be for being successful as a franchise. And so, yeah, I mean, Watson would probably love to go to Green Bay or just to get out of there at all, And so he would love to do that, but, and Rodgers would be pissed. So if Green Bay really wanted to screw Rodgers over, go make a move, I guess, because that would be the worst nightmare for Aaron Rodgers in that case. Give him something to really bitch about then, So,
that would be horrible.
Oh, well. I don't know. We're going to see how this unfolds, obviously, as the season goes on. I think that at some point things will be figured out here soon. I don't think he's just going to not show up, if they choose to not trade him. I think he will show up, and I think he will play. He's just going to act pissy about it, but he'll get over it when the time comes.
I think time the NFL season hits, it's, no matter where he's at, he's going to be performing like Aaron Rodgers performed. So I'm not really too concerned about it. Like I said, until I hear more from Aaron Rodgers himself, I'm not as concerned about it, but I understand why the story's blowing up again for the third year in a row.
Yep, absolutely. So, Tanner, I don't know, obviously we talked a little bit about this season, the NFL having 17 games for every team. The Chiefs' extra opponent is indeed the Green Bay Packers, so we're not sure yet when or what week that game will be played. We do know it's going to be in Kansas City, where everyone expects full stadiums by the time August and September rolls around. So with that coming forward here, coming up on the show this coming Wednesday night will be, as we said, the schedule release. We'll be here with you guys at 7:30 talking about the schedule, doing a rundown of the primetime games. Now, we already know the teams that we're going to be playing, obviously.
Correct.
So we already have that figured out. We'll be playing against the NFC East. We'll be on the NFC side of things. And then on the AFC side of things, it'll be the AFC North. So in that case, we'll be looking at playing the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, and Pittsburgh Steelers. And in the NFC East, it'll be the Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, and the Washington football team. So those are the main opponents to look forward to coming down. Is there someone you have in mind you're wanting to think about as far as being a potential primetime game that you want to see happen?
Yeah, for primetime, I think actually there's a Buffalo game we have this year, and it's going to be at Buffalo, but I think that's going to be a possible holiday primetime game somewhere around Thanksgiving or Christmas, I believe.
Interesting. Yeah. I like that idea as well, because why would they not want to put that? You have the two top teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
Might as well make it prime.
Going at it again.
I see that being a Sunday night type of a game.
Oh, yeah, there
for
you
sure.
go. There you go.
Chiefs should get probably 4 primetime games total.
I think so.
You're going to have one Thursday. You're going to have, I think, 2 Monday and at least 1 Sunday night.
So you're going to have at least 1 or 2 in-conference primetime games, possibly Las Vegas and maybe the Chargers. You have probably Buffalo, and then you'll probably also have the most likely Philadelphia Eagles being a primetime game, maybe a Thursday, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to have 4, I think 4 for sure.
I think Chiefs and Titans will be a potential primetime matchup. And in fact, if I just had to do a guess right now, obviously we don't know any information yet, but I could see Chiefs-Titans being the Week 1 opener. I think that would be a fun game to watch. Week 1.
That didn't work out well for us a few years ago.
Oh, I know. I remember that very, very
I was
well.
at that game. That did not work out well for us at all.
That was before Patrick Mahomes, Tanner.
That's true.
So
That's
the
true.
things that happened before Patrick Mahomes do not count, do not matter. He has changed and he did away with all the wrongs, and so righted the passage for the future.
He's the savior.
So.
The savior.
He really is the savior. So there's no doubt about that. So actually, I saw him playing a little iRacing because we talked about in the last episode. I was at the NASCAR race this past Sunday, and Patrick Mahomes was doing some iRacing with Kyle Busch, as a matter of fact. So he was sitting there in the car. One of those. They did that thing during quarantine, I guess. NASCAR drivers did, where they all raced each other. And one of those, you sit down. It's kind of basically like an arcade game. And they all did it that way. But yeah, Pat was hanging out with the NASCAR
Dave and
crew.
Buster's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they had him doing that. So it looked like he had fun. I saw a little video of him. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So it's good to see him still, going around town and having fun and being the man of the town. Him and Andy Reid are the two saviors of KC.
Yeah,
they really are.
By far, there's no two you can you can think that could have else came in and saved it. So.
Yeah, well, we did have one former Chiefs legend who's going to be going in the Chiefs Ring of Fame. I know, Tanner, you wanted to talk a little bit about former center Tim Grunhard. So, obviously this is a great move for the Chiefs because, the guy deserves it. He was a great center throughout the 90s.
This is the guy we grew up watching, too.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
When we were starting to really figure out what football and Chiefs Nation is, and Timmy was the guy.
Grunhard and Casey Wegman were my guys, growing up, obviously. But yeah, Grunny was just diehard. Still obviously KC native, hanging out here in town.
Went to
He's
school.
on the radio all the time, right?
Yeah, he's on 810 all the time. Good friends with 810. They were doing a special. This is on Wednesday night, so they were doing a special on it. Kind of talking about old school or all his old coaches. They got Lou on from Notre Dame, and man, it was kind of a cool theme when on my drive over here to hear. But like. The fact that it's taken this long to get Tim Grunhard on the Chiefs Hall of Fame, are you kidding me? Like, do you think Tim Grunhard? Do you think dominance? You think a Chiefs guy? He's a Chiefs guy.
You think of '90s Chiefs football. You think of just running the ball up everyone's ass and Grunhard just being the guy there for it.
Yeah, just mauling it.
He was actually drafted in the second round in 1990 out of Notre Dame. And actually ended up starting. He had 164 total starts, and in 169 games at a Pro Bowl level, all in KC. So, his whole career was obviously here. He made his first and only Pro Bowl actually in '99. In 1999.
First and only Pro Bowl.
So the guy was just I don't know why, he was just always kind of underrated, and I'm not sure who was going in place of him at the time. Maybe Tom Nalen of Denver would come to mind. But
man,
yeah, I'm not sure who was going in place of him, but obviously KC knew how good he was and what they had in him. So
that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, just think of the guys he's played with as well. Wasn't he part of that with Will Shields and that dominant line that they had for about 4 or 5?
Of course, he had Dave Zott, obviously, back then. Will Shields was drafted, I believe, in 1993. So he was part of the offensive line, obviously, then, too. He got replaced by Casey Wegman in the early 2000s. And that offensive line then was even more amazing.
Still dominant.
Because then you had Willie Rofe at left tackle, Brian Waters, then Casey Wegman, Will Shields. And then on the right side, who I'm forgetting, it's blanking on me right now. The right tackle we had for a few years. Yeah.
Tate?
Yeah, Jeff Tate.
John Tate.
John Tate. That's the one, yeah. So he was on there as well for a bit. That was a hell of an offensive line. Paving the way for some Priest Holmes early on.
Yeah, he played with some great some great teams, some great players as well. The great offensive line, of course, that he led the charge in. So, I mean, it's well deserved. Well deserved. Happy to see it. Can't wait to hit Arrowhead up and see him in that Chiefs Hall of Fame as well.
Yep. I am excited for him, and I'm sure he's happy about it too. It sounded like he was very excited when he heard the news that he was going to be on there, posting on Twitter, "Great day to be a part of the Chiefs Kingdom," with a picture of him standing next to Dave Zott on May 1st, actually.
That's great.
So, well, Tanner, do you have any final words before we wrap up here?
No, man. Hey, KU hired a football coach. We got the Buffalo guys.
They play football over there, huh?
So we got a new savior, hopefully, coming into Jayhawk Football Nation. So
you guys have had a lot of potential saviors that have not been
it's a little rough. But we have new AD. So new AD this year, new coach. Obviously, Bill Self for the basketball got signed to basically a sign of life. He can just renews every year he wants to coach, so it doesn't really expire. But yeah, I think in football we might have a pretty solid coach here coming from Buffalo. He built the Buffalo University up from the ground pretty much, so hopefully he can do the same thing for KU and make us relevant again. Can hopefully back to Mark Mangino day, right? So we'll see what happens there, but yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out there to Jayhawk Nation.
Well, I am just, hoping for more moonshots for the Dogecoin for me, and that's about all I can think about right now. I stay up late. I stay up till midnight now just watching the Dogecoin, seeing what it's doing.
Yep, I'm pretty sure on your TV right now there's a Doge video.
There is. It's just paused, because, we had to do a podcast. So
yeah.
But as soon as this is over, I got to go back to the Dogecoin.
Back to the Doge.
See what the Doge is doing. So...
Oh,
all right, well, thank you guys out there for following along with us on Twitter at Sports Buffoons and on YouTube as well. We had a lot of awesome viewers this previous week, actually, when I did my draft recap. So thank you all 900 of something of you, maybe 1,000 of you by now that tuned in and checked that out. So I appreciate that very much. All you guys out there following along, being part of the Sports Buffoons clan. But with all that said, you guys, we will see you very soon here. It's coming Wednesday night, and I'll see you all on the next one.
See you guys.